Hột gà nướng, hột vịt lộn, hột vịt sữa, trứng cút lộn, bắp xào đây.
So what did you study at university?
Politics.
Right.
Yeah, which I chose because I basically didn't know what I wanted to do, and I thought I'll pick something relatively open. Found it quite interesting, which is a decent starting point, I guess. And yeah, kind of didn't have any idea at all beforehand, or even afterwards, to be honest, what I wanted to do. So I thought at least I'm not kind of that too far down one path by following like a vocational thing and then regretting it later. So yeah, it was good fun, and then kind of didn't do anything to do with politics. So.
And then so you did your degree in politics, and then how did you get into football journalism? This seems like the dream job for most football fans.
Yeah, it's really lucky, and it's one of those things where obviously there's the stresses that come with every job, but you kind of do have to remind yourself it is still a great gig to have. I started doing it after uni, partly because I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I had a lot of free time, started writing articles as a hobby, and kind of gradually just got right place, right time. I think got some freelance work. And I think once one publication kind of agreed to pay me for something, I kind of thought, I can kind of not work for free anymore. And I got very fortunate in some ways because vacancies opened up and people became available that might not have if I'd come at a different time. But managed to get enough freelance work to kind of sustain it as a full-time job. Because a lot of people do it as a hobby. So sometimes when I say this is what I do, they assume I kind of just do it as a hobby. But
they assume you're an English teacher.
Yeah,
also
kind of writes a bit of blogging. Yeah.
So who do you support?
Crystal Palace.
Oh, that's a pretty good team to support these days. They've just had a fifth season in the Premier League, is that right?
Yeah, fifth season. Yeah, so about the mid-table Premier League club. It's kind of it's a strange one because some fans are a bit frustrated because there's a bit of a glass ceiling which is hard to break beyond, but we did have many years lower than this current position, so I think it's nice to enjoy it while it's going to last, which is probably not forever.
And what do you think about a lot of people put a kind of asterisk towards Manchester City's dominance because the money that's pulled in from Abu Dhabi? What's your thoughts on that? Yeah,
I mean it's definitely questionable. I think it's not so much that external money has come in, it's kind of the source of that and the whole nation state idea that kind of these political figures can bankroll a club, and I think it definitely is a sense of unease to the whole thing. I think purely if you can separate it, which you probably can't to be fair, but as a sporting and football projects that they've done everything right really in terms of getting everything right top to bottom of the club, appointing the right people in all the right roles, off the pitch, on the pitch. But I think you can't really ignore the source of that and some of the questionable practices of the Abu Dhabi and UAE regimes. It's a difficult one, but unfortunately that's the side of football I think that is not kind of going anywhere at the moment.
It's crazy to see how football has developed because I'm 36, I feel like an old man these days, but football clubs used to be owned by like the community, or they used to be owned locally, like they're a local football team. You know what I mean? Like it's part of the community, and now they're owned by people in the States, by people in China, UAE, Qatar. Like these people have no. Well, I guess the community isn't really like why they're getting involved, right?
No, exactly. I think it's difficult though because Man City, for example, they have, by all accounts, done a lot for the local community as well. They've invested a lot in kind of the local area. They've got that new training complex, so they would argue they're not neglecting that. But it's definitely a sense of unease. I think Sheikh Mansour, the owner, has only been to one game or something, isn't he, in this 10, 11 years that he's been the owner. So it's definitely something. It's also the fact that clubs now have to appeal to such a global marketplace as well, which you can't kind of separate. I don't think the fact that the players is the number one global sport, and it really is kind of a global game, but it's so different to when, so even when the Premier League started, which isn't that long ago, just over 25 years. Different sport, really, isn't it?
Yeah, what blows me away is when you see like the sponsors on the shirts in like a foreign language, like Chinese or something else, and you're like, why are they sponsoring this club? And then you realise because there might be like 100 million people in Indonesia watching the Premier League, whereas in the UK it's only 75 million of total population. But so they're marketing to where people are watching the game on TV, not where the game is being played. And that over the last few years I've noticed more and more that advertising, and I'm like, this is such a global game, because these sponsors, it was like Yokohama Tires were on the Chelsea. I'd never heard of this brand in my life, and then I was in Thailand and I saw that brand everywhere, and I'm like, oh,
makes sense now.
This is a Thai brand. Oh, but yet everyone in Thailand is watching the Premier League. They're marketing to Thailand and Asia, not where the game's being played, and that's fine, but it's just interesting. But what blew me away was just a few weeks ago or a couple of months ago, I was watching Leicester play somebody, I can't remember who it was, and up behind the goal, you see that there was a penalty, and it was Bia Saigon. I was like, wait, I took a picture of it, I was like, this is not that Bia Saigon sponsoring Leicester. So I googled it, sure enough they've got an agreement to sponsor Leicester, and they're trying to like get Bia Saigon's name out there and market it.
It's amazing, isn't it? I think Cardiff as well, not Bia Saigon, but they've got just general tourism slogans, visit Vietnam, I think.
Really?
I didn't even they've got Malaysia,
that.
A lot of kind of Southeast Asian countries, they kind of are promoting their tourism. So Vietnam's slowly creeping into the Premier League market.
And so I'm assuming then you were a big football fan before that, and do you get sick of it because you have to watch so much of it? Is it like now I'm taking on too much of this where I'm getting over it?
Sometimes I think like now that the season is almost over or virtually over, I kind of do feel like it was good to have a little break, because it does kind of get, especially this week we've had a lot of dramatic games, and you kind of get a bit. It's great, but you need a bit of a rest, I think. Even as a fan, I found that though, like the summer's good because you build the anticipation and the optimism, which is quickly shattered in Palace and Rangers' case a lot of times, I'm sure. But
I'm a Glasgow Rangers fan. But don't talk about that too much. So you got into football journalism in Italy. Who were you supporting a team in Italy?
Not really, no. I find it quite hard to. I know some people can go to another country and pick it up, but I don't know if you think the same with your club, but it's almost like something which is you don't really choose. It's just kind of a part of you from when you're quite young. So I find it hard to then later in life kind of pick. I do like some teams based on maybe their kit or something stupid like that. But there's no. I struggle to build up any kind of affinity with any other club.
So I'm actually the complete opposite
to
that. And the reason why. So I was brought up a die-hard Rangers fan. Like I went to my first game at 5 years old. Had a season ticket from a young age. I travelled all around Europe watching Rangers. I went to Holland, Germany, France. Never went to Italy. And that was like in my blood. Like, literally my whole life revolved around watching Rangers and loved the club. And luckily when I was growing up, they were winning 9 in a row. They were winning trophies left, right and centre. Which is all now controversial because if anyone knows the backstory of Rangers, they were relegated to the bottom league. They were doing financial cheating, not on the field, but they were cheating financially and so relegated, and so now the club's been a bit of a mess for a while. But the reason that I turned my back, really, and I have turned my back on Rangers, is because of bigotry and because of sectarianism. And I was part of that, and I am embarrassed now to think about the songs that I sung growing up about killing Catholics, about wars that I had no idea that happened, about Protestants and Catholics and things like that. And it was all just it wasn't even real, because some of my best friends were Celtic fans and Catholics, and we'd meet each other up. We'd meet up after the games and hang out and make fun of each other. But so it was never like I actually hated Catholics or I wanted to kill anybody. But it's so tribal when you go to the games, and so the bigotry and the sectarianism just something I didn't realise though how bad it was until I left Scotland, right? And so what happened was, this was a big wake up call. I was in New York and Celtic were playing Dunfermline in the Scottish Cup final, and I was like, right, I'm 3,000 miles from home, I'll go watch Celtic play, and I'd been in America for a little bit, and I knew how friendly Americans were and how outgoing everyone was, and I was like, oh, this will be awesome, like I'll watch this game abroad. And I had a brand new Rangers top, the Rangers away kit. I just had it sent over from my mum, so I had put that on. I went on a forum, this is way before Facebook and things like that, and said, where can I watch the Celtic game in Manhattan? And I can't remember the name of the bar, but I got a recommendation, found this bar, and I was late because I couldn't find it, so I eventually found it. I opened the door about a few inches, and the whole bar was green and white hoops, packed right to the door, And this guy just looked me up and down, and this is a bad Irish accent, but he goes, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." Looking at my Rangers top, and I was like, what the fuck? So, and the whole place was just looking at me, so I closed the door and I just walked away as fast as I could, looking over my shoulder, because I really thought like, something bad was going to happen. So I got away and it was fine. I went back on this fan forum and I said what happened. All these people came back saying, "Who told you that to go there? That's the most pro-IRA Republican bar in Manhattan. That's a death sentence. Why did they tell you that?" And I was like, I was just following the advice. And so that made me just so sad, because I just wanted to go and watch a game and have fun. Thankfully, now I'm thankful that I was wearing my Rangers top, because if I hadn't and I'd just been plain clothes, I might have just walked in, ordered a beer, and then just slowly found out that I'm a Rangers fan. I also think as well, part of the reaction was Dunfermline took the lead in that game after I think it was 26 minutes. And I was about 26 minutes late.
Good time.
And I literally do think that I'd walked in just after Dunfermline had scored, so it's a double whammy. Dunfermline had just scored, and I walk in with a Rangers.
Couldn't write that, could you?
So Celtic ended up winning in the end, but that left me a bit jaded. And then after that, I left the UK, and I never really went back. And so being away, I think I grew up as a person. I realised that the things I'd done in the past had been wrong. The things I'd said in the past had been wrong. And I didn't want to be part of that, and so that just kind of put me off. So yeah, I'm a bit of a football whore. Like I just kind of support whoever's nearest to me or whoever's playing well. I was in Melbourne for a few years, so I like Melbourne Victory. Then I went to New Zealand and lived in Wellington, so I followed the Wellington Phoenix, who are part of the Australian A-League. And have you ever seen the Australian A-League?
Not really. Occasional highlights, but no, I can't say I've had the pleasure.
Highlights is in quotation marks. Honestly, the quality is so low. If you go on YouTube, you can look up A-League bloopers, and it's more entertaining than the highlights. You just think, how are some of these guys football players? And so A-League standard is so low, and then the Wellington Phoenix are routinely the bottom team in the A-League. And so it was always good fun to go and watch, but the stadium's not very good. The stadium, like the seats are miles away from the pitch, so you almost need like binoculars to watch them, and then standard's not very good, but they had a couple of good seasons when I was there, so that was quite entertaining. But then after that, even going back to the Premier League, when I was growing up, I liked Chelsea when they had like Gianfranco Zola and Vialli and Torre Andre Flo, and then I liked Newcastle when they had Kevin Keegan as the manager, and there was Ginola and Asprilla.
Yeah, I think everyone liked them then, didn't they?
And his Shearer for a while as well. That was great then. And then I can't remember. Well, I think I kind of stopped watching football for a while actually, because I did kind of get put off with the whole sectarian thing, and I just kind of didn't watch football for quite a few years actually. Then I slowly started getting back into it. So then obviously I followed Leicester when they were on their title run, and that was just like a fairy tale, right? Like you cannot imagine that. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah, the way they did it as well. And then I was in Thailand at the time as well when that was happening, so that was just incredible. Like this Thai-owned team. And their owner obviously had made a big connection with the community and was a good owner.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was amazing in Thailand, and seeing the amount of Premier League shirts everywhere. And then when Brendan Rodgers took over at Liverpool, I kind of really started liking Liverpool when they nearly won the title. I really liked Steven Gerrard. I wanted him to win it so badly. And then they obviously had a good team with Suarez and Sturridge. So now kind of Liverpool would probably be my team, and even teams like Chelsea, who I used to like, now I'm kind of like interested in at all.
So it changes with players and circumstances.
Yeah, so I just like whoever's playing well, basically. But I just can't get behind Man City. Yeah, just because of the reasons that we talked about
it's
earlier.
An issue. Yeah.
They play the best football. They've got the best manager, and like you say as well, they did it the right way in terms of structure. They built the club up properly. They got all the back room staff. But the fact that this oil-rich state have come in with terrible human rights abuses just makes me hard to like them. And in Manchester United, I've never been into Manchester United, but that's a wee bit tribal, because Rangers historically have always kind of sided with Chelsea. That's been like I wasn't aware of that. It's Rangers and Chelsea. I think because they're both kind of like pro-British clubs, and Man United I think have a bit of an Irish following, and Celtic are an Irish club, a Scottish club, but a big Irish following. So it was always Celtic and Man U, and Rangers and Chelsea. So thing is with Man U though, I do kind of like them, but I try not to.
I never have that problem there. They're the club I just always dislike. I think no matter what happens. I was actually a bit worried because I'm a big fan of Maurizio Pochettino, the Tottenham manager, who was at one point the favourite to be the next Man United manager. So I
Well,
thought, sorry, Ritzy, I'm going to have to dislike you if you do go there.
The way Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's turned out right now, you never know. He could still be going there in the summer. So how long did it take after your spell in Italy to then move on? Thanks for listening to another episode of 7 Million Bikes, a Saigon podcast. Thank you very much to Lewis Wright for composing our theme tune and helping with editing. And thank you very much to Lynn Nguyen for helping with the cover art design that you see on our Facebook page and our website. If you do want to leave us a review, go to Facebook, look for 7 Million Bikes, a Saigon podcast, or you can check us out online at www.7millionbikes.com. I hope you're enjoying listening to the podcast. If you have any suggestions of people in Saigon who you'd like to hear from, like to be interviewed, then just drop me an email at 7millionbikes@gmail.com. Thanks for listening. I hope you're enjoying the show. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're like me, you may use your laptop at places where you have to use public Wi-Fi. This opens you up to digital snoopers. It's a massive problem. It can be your internet service provider, or you know who, looking at what you do online, or a cyber criminal trying to steal your bank passwords or credit card info, or even a hacker at the next table trying to steal your sensitive data. These days, it is vital that you keep your data safe. NordVPN keeps all of these snoopers away. It makes your internet activity private, protects you from accessing dangerous websites that are phishing for your data, and lets you enjoy your favorite content securely, even while away from home. And it's easy to use, even I could use it. I've actually been using NordVPN for years now here in Vietnam, and I'm excited to be an affiliate partner with them. I've used NordVPN to watch Netflix, BBC, Disney Plus with ease, and I also know that my information and data are safe from prying eyes, whoever they may be. Join now and you'll get 68% off and 3 months free when you go to my link, nordvpn.com/SMB. Just again, for those hard of hearing, nordvpn.com/SMB. The link is also in the show notes. I know nobody checks them out, but go check that out and you can get the link from wherever you're listening to this podcast. As an affiliate partner, it also means that I will get a small commission when you sign up, but at no extra cost to you. So not only will you be getting a great deal through 7 Million Bikes, you get a great VPN and you'll be supporting 7 Million Bikes podcast. Stay safe online and enjoy the shows you love. Any questions, just let me know. You know how to get in touch with me. And thanks for listening to this show. Cheers.